Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. I'm Kevin, and joining me today, Mr. Jason Smith. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Good, man. Hanging in there, really good. Enjoying the you were talking before the podcast about how you guys have been having good weather down there. We've been having pretty good weather as well up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
Rainy, not too. So we have our heater on almost 24/7 still because it's still cold, but we haven't had a rain to worry about. It's been sunny. It's been nice. It's been really relaxing. So I can I really dig it. It's been awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you everyone for checking out the show. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about the SAG after strike, which finally came to an end last week.
Finally.
Why was that?
Finally.
After 118 days, 118 days, which is the longest strike in Hollywood history. It finally came to an end to some tentative agreements. We still don't know the exact details of the agreement and what they settled on. We have some kind of information that I'll be sharing with you all, but nothing concrete, nothing, we're not insiders, so we don't have that kind of information.
Yeah.
Hopefully they got what they deserve. Jason Bean, hello, and Wendy, hello, nice to see you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're also going to be talking about the MCU a little bit. This past weekend, the Marvels release, which is the newest film in the MCU. I got the opportunity to see it. We'll talk about that, but we'll also talk about the state of the MCU right now, and kind of talk about some things that might help it moving forward, some things that we think they can do, and talk about some of the reasons why it's just not as relevant as it used to be. Think a lot of it's pretty obvious, but we'll get to it when we get to it. As usual, make sure to like and subscribe wherever you're watching or you're listening or whatever it is. We really, really appreciate it, and it helps out a lot. Make sure to share with your friends also. The more you share, the more eyes we get in front of. And who knows, we might get new fans, you never know who likes this stuff. So definitely be sure to share it and tell a friend about us. We really, really appreciate that. And as always, check out pastramination.com for all the movie, reviews. Haven't you been doing some toy reviews on there lately?
Yeah, I've been dabbling into some action figures. Recently I did it was one from the Naruto figure arts wave. The good folks
I saw that one, yeah.
hooked us up. Yeah, and those figures are amazing. Like, just the detail and the articulation, it's like, wow, you can get that pose straight out of the anime.
That's really cool. Yeah, I read that review. It's great. Go check out pastramination.com and get some really, really cool toy reviews by some really, really cool people. So let's start out the show by talking about the SAG after strike. So after 118 days of them just, wanting to get paid, just wanting to make a living, wanting to be able to make some money off of what the streamers are making. They're not getting paid enough. Their jobs are, I think this is to a lesser extent, but their jobs are being threatened by things like AI and stuff like that also. So a lot of that came into play as well. But the studios finally reached an agreement with SAG-AFTRA last week. They finally came to the table and said, hey, we can offer some of this stuff to you. It's been a crazy couple months for them. I can only imagine kind of what they're going through and what they had to deal with while they were on this strike. And I don't want to say the box office suffered because of it, because it really didn't, but there are some elements that play into actually, like we said, we're going to talk about the MCU later, but I do feel like some of the strike had a lot to do with the success of the Marvels this past weekend. So like I said, we don't have all the answers for what was in the deal, what was in the agreement, but it did, the board, the AMPTP, they finally voted to accept the deal with 86% approval, according to the National Executive Director, Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who is the National Executive Director of SAG-AFTRA. This is just coming from a website, darkhorizons.com. The deal reportedly includes a 7% raise in most minimums, a new $40 million residual bonus for actors on streaming shows that reach a certain benchmark of success, and more than $1 billion in new wages and benefit plan funding. So All that money is going to the actors, to benefits, and they're going to be getting paid what they deserve. The problem with streaming now, streaming's kind of the new, uh, it's a new thing now, right? Everyone's going to streaming, and the problem with streamers is that they're not as upfront with their numbers as a lot of other studios are and stuff like that. So what this still causes them to do is to be more transparent with their numbers. They're able to basically pay people for how well their stuff does on the services, which wasn't a thing before. But residuals and stuff are really, really, really important to an actor's career and an actor's livelihood, to be honest. You talk about these shows like, Fran Drescher, who is the lead, who is the president of SAG-AFTRA. Obviously, she was a big part of the 90s. The Nanny was a huge show, and people like her, and even Drew Carey. Drew Carey played a big part in the SAG-AFTRA strike, helping writers eat. Basically, he set up a tab, I think it was at Bob's Big Boys or something like that down in Burbank. If you had a WGA card, you can eat for free, all on Drew Carey's dime. And that was possible because of the residuals, because of the way that the contracts were set up back in the day. You made your sitcom and you get paid constantly whenever it airs in syndication, whenever it gets sold to a streamer, you get money from that. Fran Drescher and Drew Carey were able to benefit from that. And that's what this fight was about. This fight was about being able to make sure that people are able to sustain their living for the work that they do. Better contracts for sitcom actors, because, let's face it, network sitcoms are not as big as they used to be. It's all on streaming now. So, you look at things like, what's that one show? There's that sitcom with Ashton Kutcher and The Ranch, I think it's called, on Netflix. Yes. Like, that's an example of a sitcom on a streamer that they're going to be able to get residuals from now, because the streamers have to be more upfront and more transparent with their numbers, which is fantastic.
Exactly. And what did they say about the AI? That's the big one that kind of bothered me.
Yeah, so the AI, they basically, back in the early days of the strike, they were talking, all these actors were starting to come out and saying, hey, like, these studios were contacting me. Let's say a superhero movie, right? Chris Evans. Marvel can technically use his likeness in any shape, way, or form without paying him. So they can digitally recreate Chris Evans, and they can basically put him in a new Captain America movie if they wanted to. He wouldn't get a dime from it, right? That's what studios wanted to do. Studios were willing. They even started to put it in contracts, saying basically, hey, like, let us have your likeness. We'll pay you one sum up front, and then we can use it as often as we want, wherever we want, whenever we want.
That's crap.
And isn't it, right? It's like, technology obviously hasn't reached a point where they can completely do it 100%. There's still the uncanny valley aspect of it, but it can get to a point to where if we have the technology, studios will want to do that. Like, we're already seeing it with, like, let's talk about hologram stuff, right? Like, you see Tupac performing at the Super Bowl, whatever, whatever it is.
At Coachella.
Yeah, at Coachella, like, that kind of technology they want to bring into movies. So you can see a brand new movie with James Dean, or you can see a brand new movie with Marilyn Monroe. You can see a brand new movie with Tom Hanks when he was, from the 90s, right?
Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks.
What's that?
The Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks.
Exactly. Like, you can get a direct sequel to Forrest Gump, right? Like, takes place right after, just using Tom Hanks's likeness and getting a voice actor to come in and do his voice. His brother's really good at that, by the way. I don't know if any of you know this, but for the toys and everything, it's actually his brother that comes in, and for video games and stuff, his brother is actually the voice actor for Woody and all the action figures, all the toys, all the stuffed animals, all the video games and stuff like that. Anyways, that's besides the point. That's the thing with, and it's absolutely stealing from actors, and they wanted to start putting that in contracts so that they can start using their likenesses and stuff like that. So are you talking about, like, what's the big deal with them stealing from actors, or I'm just curious about that, Wendy. I don't know. But I mean, it's still, people think of actors, right? Like, obviously we have our minds set on actors being like Leonardo DiCaprio, Ryan Reynolds, all these big celebrities who are millionaires, right? They have so much money. But the reality is most actors, they live movie to movie, right? Like they live paycheck to paycheck and they rely on residuals. They rely on all that stuff to help, support them, their livelihoods, just to be able to live. And
I seen
oh,
what Bean's saying about the cost of streaming services. Do you think now that all this is in play that that'll cause streaming services to go up?
that is a very good question. I do think they will see a slight increase. It's already happening, right? I don't know if
Yeah.
it's not a result of this, but you have Disney and Hulu are going to be officially merging at the end of this year. Um, so basically, and by doing that, they're able to up the price on both of them and do it a combined package. Peacock, I think, is going up at the end of this year as well as some other streaming services. So yes, I do think it's going to have. I think it's going to have an effect. I don't think it's going to be a massive effect. I think it's going to be $2, $3, $4, right? It's not going to be huge, but I do think it will have some sort of effect. But to me, it's worth it if people can get paid what they deserve, right? If people can, we're still going to consume the content. We still want it. We're still going to be there. We're still going to subscribe. So might as well just up the price a little bit to accommodate for the actors and stuff like that. So what happened to that in the contract? It's essentially going to be no more, right? So they're going to be essentially saying that they can't use, if they do happen to use their likeness in the future, they have to get paid for that. Again, I don't know the details of what's in the deal, but I could imagine that's the only thing that they were talking about wanting, is the idea that AI cannot be used without their permission and without them getting some kind of cut out of it, right? And I know that
And they should get a cut out of it,
we
you know?
should. Absolutely, 100%, absolutely. So, hopefully more of that contract will come out and we'll get a better idea of what's in that regarding AI and stuff like that. But yeah.
Andy has a good point right there. What kind of permission for somebody like Peter Cushing or Carrie Fisher? I'm sure the family would have
Yeah,
some say in that, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. I'm pretty sure I pretty much know for a fact that Peter Cushing it was a family thing, right? And of course, like, yeah, someone like Carrie Fisher, who's so essential to the Star Wars story they were telling, like, I don't think her family would have been like, no, you absolutely can't do that, right? Or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think it is the family's estate, right? It is depending on what the family wants and stuff like that. And I think, whereas, before they were talking about just letting them use it, they were just going to use it willy-nilly. Like, who cares what the family thinks? Who cares what this person thinks? Who cares what this estate thinks? We're just going to do it anyways. And I think it's going to change things up for the better in a good way, right? You're not going to have that threat anymore, which is fantastic. And the same thing goes for the writers, right? Like the writers were also fighting for the same thing. AI, well, I don't believe it's going to take humans' jobs as writers or actors. It's going to have an impact on them. I don't think an AI can write a compelling, interesting, emotional script, right? Like, I just don't think it can. I don't think it has the ability to yet. But who knows? The way they feed these algorithms for the AI to learn, they're going to be able to do it in a couple years time. They're going to be able to mimic the voice of Quentin Tarantino. They're going to be able to mimic the voice of Aaron Sorkin or whatever the case may be. So just give it a couple years, it'll happen. But that was the same thing with the writers. Were like, hey, we still need jobs, and we can't let AI kind of essentially take our jobs for all of these writing gigs and stuff like that.
If
So,
anything, I think it's gonna help a lot of college students cheat, you know?
oh
Like
yeah,
and even
100%.
with artists, because like, I don't know if you've seen some AI art that people generate. It's like,
It's
no, like, you see a mediocre artist out there that can't really draw for, like, and all of a
mhm,
sudden they're putting out a masterpiece. It's like, because it's AI, you know?
right.
And some of them, like, I know one, I'm not gonna mention their name, but they basically posted up something, and, somebody asked them, "Did you draw that?" "Yep." And
See,
I know damn well they didn't draw that, you know? Like, AI is like, I don't know, it's gonna help a lot of people cheat the system.
yeah, no, and I do think in certain aspects AI is a good tool, but I also I completely agree with you, Jason. Like, it's gonna hurt the system, and I think people are gonna be stealing other people's art to Claim
It's
as
like a
old.
double-edged sword, you know?
It really is. It really is. It kind of hurts. It kind of hurts just thinking about using Princess Leia without her. Yeah, it does. Like it's very disrespectful, and I don't think anyone. Hopefully, no one wants to see that, and I hope they did go through the proper channels to be able to do some digital stuff when they did. Was playing World of Warcraft, and there was a mod that gives all NPCs AI voices, and wow, they sound so natural. It was unbelievable. So it makes me wonder about the future of voice. Same thing. I think that the voice actors and visual effects artists are gearing up to unionize and to strike as well, or to make contracts that at least prevent that from happening. We're already, we're already seeing it right there, right? We're seeing it right there. These AI are able to mimic human voices, which is absolutely terrifying. Every time we use a filter on TikTok or we do anything like that, I hope people understand you're using AI, like you're feeding AI the algorithm. You're basically helping it learn how to react to human emotion and the way we move and stuff like that. And by doing that, we're kind of feeding into the system so they can learn how to mimic us better. And this isn't like a dooming, they're going to take over. I'm not a crazy person, conspiracy theorist, but you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, right? Like it's gonna like lead
Terminator 2 warned us about this
it
years ago.
did. It did. And that's the scary part, man. I see some of these animatronics that they make even at Disney parks, and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
just
Those are
put some
freaky.
like AI in there, like that Spider-Man one that they have in the California Adventure, the one that like legitimately like jumps up and spins. It's insane.
Did you see the ones at the Charger Stadium at SoFi?
No, I didn't know.
Those were creepy. Like, there were fans, there were AI fans just sitting in there in the
That's
crowd. Yeah.
absolutely terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah, no. So it's, I think we just need to, support artists, support that's really what it comes down to. Support artists, support art. Um, I think the studios are going to be learning a valuable lesson, and I think they did this year. There's no way you have Barbie, there's no way you have Oppenheimer, there's no way you have any of these movies without real people behind the wheel, like without real script writers, without real directors, without real actors. You can't recreate Barbie and the success of Barbie with using AI, like whether it's the script, whether it's the actors, whatever the case may be. Um, and that also kind of brings me to another point when they were talking. So I don't know if you guys heard the news this week. There was a brand new John Cena Wile E. Coyote movie that was supposed to be coming out. It's in the pipeline. It was supposed to be like a hybrid, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Space Jam type thing. Warner Brothers decided that they were going to shelf it. They decided, hey, we're going to use it as a tax write-off. So we're just gonna stop it. I don't know why that's showing up on the screen. Yeah, so they decided that they were going to use it as a tax write-off, which angered a lot of people, especially the people who had worked really hard on it. VFX still needed to be done, but they decided to scrap it. Fans rose up. The filmmakers were like, no, this isn't happening. So Warner Brothers backed up that decision, and they said they can shop it around to different studios to get it on streaming or whatever the case may be. So originally supposed to be on Max, but then they decided it can go theatrical, and then they completely pulled the plug, kind of like they did with Batgirl earlier this year as well. But that also shows how much these studios, they don't care about the artist as much. You know what I mean? Like, especially these strikes kind of show that, like 100%, they think they can get away with stuff. They think they can use AI. They think they can do whatever they need to do to replace real people. But I think we've seen just the outcry from that movie being scrapped to the strikes and the studios eventually coming to the table and saying, okay, let's make a deal. That shows that how much we need artists and how much we need people. So yeah. I don't know what the voices it generated were based on known actors or what the AI used to create the voices. Yeah, I don't know either. It's interesting. Oppenheimer was a good, yeah, Oppenheimer was great. Like Oppenheimer was, it was long. I completely agree.
Very long.
But you can't, again, you can't replicate that kind of emotion and that kind of story on AI. And he says, I read an article recently about a program that artists can use to add invisible data to pixels of their digital art to screw up AI if their art gets scrapped and fed to AI. So it thinks it's drawing a car and it's actually a banana or something. I mean,
Nice.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. Hopefully they implement that more and destroy these things. It was a big business trying to strong arm workers. Yeah, 100%. And they, in the end, realized how important the workers were. And that goes for a lot of industries right now. I think this is like probably the biggest year I've ever seen of strikes just in general. You have the motor companies are on strike right now. A lot of the vehicle companies. Well, up here in Portland, there's like a teacher strike. There was one a few months ago for Washington State, Vancouver area, and then and that lasted for like 2 weeks. And there's another one going on right now in Portland, where all the Portland schools are closed they've been closed for a week and a half now, because the teachers are on strike. So payer workers, especially teachers. I know we're just talking about actors, but teachers deserve so much more and so much better than they are getting. Let's make sure they have the money they need, guys. Let's make sure to support them. They're bringing up the future of our country. They raised us. They taught us everything we know. I think the least we can do is pay them what they're worth and help them out and give them everything they need to be successful and to teach our kids and stuff like that. I wish the train workers got treated better. Same. 100%. Any kind of industry workers, train workers, airline, airline workers, these factory workers who are building cars, working themselves to the bone to give us things that we want. Truck drivers, everything. They all deserve so much more than they get right now. So,
definitely, and that goes with anywhere, like retail, anything. Like, I know a guy that worked for, in my Home Depot days, I knew a guy that worked there over 35 years and watched him get snubbed 4 times for somebody because they were fooling around with the manager or something. It's like, you're at the mercy of whatever manager is relevant. And I would say, like, it goes with everywhere. You're always going to be at the mercy of somebody, like, who's whatever manager or whatever supervisor, or, I'm sure it goes for any job. Like, you're at the mercy of whether they like you or they have their favorites.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100%. And depends on the teacher. And I completely agree. Yeah. But yet bad teachers need to be called out. Exactly. I completely agree with that. I think most teachers, 95% of them, are trying to do their jobs. They're just trying to do their jobs the best they can. But a lot of the times, good teachers become bad teachers because they don't have the resources they need to be good teachers. So I personally believe that people get into that field for a reason, to teach people, and they always have the best intentions. And if they get paid what they're worth, they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to succeed and not be bad teachers. They can be great teachers. Let's see. Remember the essential worker in 20? I was one of those essential. I mean, I wasn't a hospital worker or anything. I do pest control, but I was still considered an essential.
That's essential.
Worker. It is. I had to keep bugs out of houses. People were home. People needed. They didn't want their bugs. I wish Kevin and Jason got paid what they are. Oh, thanks, Jason Bean. We really appreciate that. That's awesome. I would love to get paid. So sponsors, come on up. I'll be sponsored by Disney. We're good to go. I'll sell out. Who cares? I got my figure today. Oh yeah. You're welcome. Congrats. That's awesome. Sweet. That's awesome.
Nice.
So let's keep supporting SAG after they're still, they're wrapping things up. They're doing their thing. They're doing all that stuff, but let's still continue to go watch movies, continue to support them, support writers, support real art. Speaking of movies, let's talk about a couple that are coming out that we're excited for before we get into the MCU talk. Me and Jason were talking before. Thanksgiving is coming out this weekend.
Yes.
The new Eli Roth movie. Many of you might be aware it's based on a fake trailer, actually, that was in Grindhouse, the Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez movie, which Eli Roth also directed the trailer for the fake trailer, and he made it a reality, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. It looks like a good Thanksgiving horror movie, like which I can't think of any other Thanksgiving horror movies. But yeah, we got that coming out. I'm really, really excited to see that. There's also a movie out right now that I want to shout out called It's a Wonderful Knife. I haven't seen it yet, but it's a play on It's a Wonderful Life, obviously, but it's a Christmas slasher. So it's a slasher, takes place in this town. It's around Christmas time. I haven't seen it, unfortunately, yet, but I do plan on seeing it. It looks great. It looks fantastic.
Is that at theaters or is that streaming?
It's in theaters right now. Yeah, it's in theaters. I think it's not Blumhouse. I'm not sure who it is, but it looks fun. It looks great. It's got Justin Long.
Oh, I love Justin Long.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So it looks fun. It's a little bit more indie, but it looks like a lot of fun, and it's horror. So Christmas horror movie. You can't really go wrong with that.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. And then in a couple weeks, I'm really excited to go see Godzilla -0.
Yes.
That's going to be awesome. We're getting our tickets for that. We're going to watch. I want to watch on the biggest screen possible. It looks amazing. Or Godzilla -1. Sorry, -0. But that looks great. That looks fantastic. So yeah. So keep an eye out for those. All right, y'all. Let's talk about the subject we all love talking about. This one's never going to bring up any debate or anything, so it's totally cool. Nerds have never, ever, ever, ever talked about the MCU online, and I think we might be the first ones. So let's talk about it. A new season of What If. Oh yeah, What If is great. So this past weekend, The Marvels was released in theaters. The lowest MCU opening to date, which there are reasons for it, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit. Obviously, don't know 100%. Again, we're not experts. This is just kind of speculation and stuff like that. So I need to start this out by saying we did see it. Me and my kids saw it. And I'm going to tell you 100% honesty, probably the most fun I've had in an MCU movie since Endgame, to be 100% honest. It was funny. It was thrilling. It had some really inventive, really cool fight sequences I thought were really cool. So like, for those of you who don't know the plot, like basically so Carol, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and she doesn't get a superhero name, which bothers me to death. All the promotional material and stuff call her Photon, but she was in WandaVision. She is, gosh dang it, what is her name? Carol's best friend's daughter. I cannot remember her name. Monica Rambeau. That's her name. They essentially, their powers get intertwined and they basically start kind of switching places. So like they'll be in the middle of a fight scene. Like Carol will be up, Captain Marvel will be up in space fighting. And then someone else will try to use their powers and they'll switch places. So next thing you know, you have Miss Marvel like up there, like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And Captain Marvel ends up in Miss Marvel's living room. It's just some really, really fun stuff like that. Jason, you gave me the greatest Christmas present. I badly needed a QB this week in Santa Jason. That's awesome. But no.
Give you Carson Wentz.
But we really all enjoyed it. I had a blast with it. It was really funny. It was really entertaining. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. It was just like hit the sweet spot. Had some really, really cool moments. Nia DaCosta, she directed it. Her last movie was the Candyman reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, which was also fantastic. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really dug it. But as we know, it's been getting good reviews. It's been getting good audience reviews, but the presence at the box office was pretty much non-existent this past week. And it didn't do horribly. It opened at 40 million, which is nothing to gawk at, but it really didn't do as well as some people were hoping, which could be for a number of reasons. So let's talk about the strike a little bit and how that kind of affected it a little bit. You enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I really loved it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a lot of fun. My daughter loved it. My son loved it. We all had a blast with it. And this past year with Marvel, Quantumania was bad. Quantumania was bad. And you could tell, like, it really was. Like, I don't know what you thought about it. Did you see it?
I saw Quantumania.
What did you think?
It wasn't horrible, It wasn't my favorite Ant-Man movie, but it wasn't like Black Widow or Iron Man 3. I don't know.
So
I'm still torn on those two on which one I hate.
Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie.
Oh God.
Easily. Best written, best character development, easy. Like there's no question.
I take it you're not an Iron Man 2 guy.
Oh, I hate Iron Man 2 with a passion. Iron Man 2 was god awful. Whiplash is the worst villain in MCU history, easily.
I loved him for the fact that it was Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, even then he couldn't save it. That was the problem. He couldn't. When Mickey Rourke can't save a character.
I
Let's
don't
go.
know, but Black Widow was kind of like I love Scarlett Johansson, but that movie just did not do it for me.
Yeah, no, and I get it, right? Like I understand, but like Quantum Mania had that for me. So basically, what Quantum Mania did was it felt, you can tell that people were working to the last minute on that movie, and it was pushed, and it was, the VFX weren't there, right? Like it felt like a it felt like a it felt like they put out an unfinished product, right? Like when you watch it in theaters, like I walked out of it being like, it didn't even feel like it was done, right?
It kind of felt like a we saw an episode of a Guardians of the Galaxy series, or
Right.
something like
Yeah,
that, right?
it felt like a TV show. It felt like something that wasn't completely thought out or completely done. What else did we get? Guardians 3 was great. Guardians 3 was good. My problem with Guardians 3 was it was just super depressing and I wasn't down with
That
it.
was sad. It
Right?
was
Super
very
sad.
sad.
Had its moments, but like I think one of the main problems the MCU has right now is the villains. I feel like the villains are kind of weak, and the stories themselves just aren't fantastic, right? Like they're fun, they're fine, but they're not like everything leading up to Endgame was leading up to something and it was fun, and you had all these really cool villains and stuff, but I feel like they used those up like at the beginning, and now they're kind of using B tier villains with A tier superheroes, right? And that was also
Hey,
my problem with Miss Marvel.
with that Guardians though, with the High Evolutionary, uh,
Oh yeah,
people hated I hated that guy. Like I wanted him to die
oh
like
yeah,
some Game of Thrones level shit. Like I've never hated a villain more in a Marvel movie, I think.
right. No, 100%. Um, yeah, no, he was a horrible, horrible villain. Just a bad person. Um, so yeah, Jason Bean, Kevin, many of my other friends dislike. A lot of people are going to dislike. Again, we all have opinions. But I legitimately listen, and there's a number of different reasons why you can blame it for not doing well, right? I think personally, I think it's kind of the number of kind of mediocre Marvel movies that just people just weren't excited for it, right? I don't think you can you can blame whatever you want. I have my views as to why I think a lot of people didn't show up, and I think unfortunately characters like Captain Marvel get a lot of hate online, just for reasons that I don't want to get into on this show. But unfortunately, because well, she's female and she's a badass
There's a lot
superhero.
of idiots out there, you
Yeah,
know.
and that seems to be a lot, that seems to be some of it, but there's also the fatigue, right? People just are done with Marvel, even DC. Like, let's fa- I am so excited for Aquaman to come out just so that I can stop seeing the trailer every time I go watch a movie. Like
That's like me with the Trolls movie. I'm so
yeah.
glad it came out last weekend because I got that trailer for every movie I saw.
Oh my gosh, dude, I'm so like I'm so done with the Aquaman trailer. I don't even care about the movie to be honest at this point. I'm like, I'll see it when it comes out, but it's like I just don't, I'm excited for it to come out. And that's the thing. There's all these mediocre superhero movies coming out. It's nothing like the MCU was in the first phase, right? It's nothing like, or the first three phases.
They can't all
Um,
be Endgame.
they can all, and that's the thing. And that's what I think what a lot of people need to understand. Do you believe it will bring me back to the theaters again? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's really hard to answer because I personally I really like the first Captain Marvel movie too. So I think I could be biased, and I love the character of Miss Marvel in general. I think she's amazing. Kamala Khan, one of my favorite characters, and casting Iman Vellani, the girl who plays her, is probably, in my opinion, the best like thing the MCU has done in like years. Like she becomes a character. She's so charming, so funny. Like she's just amazing. Like she's fantastic. Her and Captain Marvel has this really, really great relationship, and she's just a fangirl like us, which I think is really, really cool. So I think you might enjoy it, and I think you'll just go in and just have a good time. And I think that's what these movies are about, right? Like going in, having fun. You can get more into, some people want a little bit more drama, a little bit more heaviness to their superhero movies, and that's fine. Um, and you get that in the MCU. You get plenty. I feel like you get a good mixture But this is certainly one that has more fun and has a little bit, doesn't take itself too seriously, which I think is fantastic. Jason Bean says, I don't care much for travel between dimensions and time travel. That's why I'm bleh on Kang being the, yes, 100%. That's another piece of news about the MCU. They're talking about how it's a possibility, a very, very strong rumor that they're going to be stepping away from Kang as the big bad for this phase. Just with the trouble Jonathan Majors has been in lately, they're going to be taking that way out. And so, yeah, this is just rumors, very strong rumors and very trustworthy rumors, but you never know what's going to happen. I think I wasn't a big fan of King to begin with. So we'll see what happens. I think Doom would be amazing. Doom would be incredible. Wendy Frank, I like females. I love females too. I love badass superhero female. Specifically, you know, I love Captain Marvel. Like, I know there was a lot of hate on it, but I think as a character, she's fantastic. And Miss Marvel's great. Wonder Woman is my favorite DC movie. Birds of Prey was my favorite DC movie. But I love, I love these movies, and I think they're fantastic, and I think they're a lot of fun. Bring on the new Spawn movie. I'm excited for that.
Yes.
But if it's not right, it's not right. Wendy says absolutely 100%. But Jason, so we're actually finishing up the second season of Loki, which I'm actually liking quite a bit. We have 2 episodes left. It's pretty good. I haven't watched Secret Invasion yet, and I'm like,
neither have I.
You know, and that's the sad part. Like, I was actually talking to Eli, my son, the other day, and I was like, look, like, I was like an MCU stan. I would watch everything the MCU had to offer. I was there every day the episode drops. I was like, the episodes drop. Like, I was there. Like, I was like 100% on board. Legitimately, Quantumania killed all of that for me. The first time a movie in the MCU like literally just pulled the plug and pulled the rug from under me and was like, that's how much I cared about that movie. I walked out of it and I was like, I'm done with the MCU. Like, I was very hesitant about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I was hesitant about this one, to be honest.
With Secret Invasion, I think I don't want to, like, because I know it's going to let me down because I read the storyline, the comic, and that was great, you know, like, that was so awesome. And then it'd be like DC trying to do the Blackest Night story arc, and you know they would screw it up,
right?
Like, because I'm a big comics guy, and like, not everything goes like how comics should be, you know. And I got a feeling that Secret Invasion is not going to live up to that, you know.
And everything I've heard leads down that path. Like, it's just not what people want and what people expected, which is fine sometimes. But when you have something that's based off of something that's so beloved and so, you know, people are so excited for, you really can't change a whole lot, right? Like, you can change up a few things here and there, but you have to stick to the story. But I heard that Secret Invasion kind of veers off the path a little bit too much. But what do you guys think? Like, what is your opinion, Jason? Why do you think not just the Marvels, but why do you think the MCU has been struggling lately? Because even, you know, the Marvels obviously had the lowest movie, but like, it felt like everything kind of led up to this, right? Why do you think that is?
They're just burned out, I think. You know, like, there's only so much you can shove down their throats till, like, you know, oh, another Marvel movie. Like we've been getting Marvel MCU for what, since like 2008. So that's like over 15 years or something. I don't know. I think oversaturation, not maybe, I don't know, because everyone's been different, but it's just like people going with the mindset, oh, when's this character going to come out? When's this? It's like, he's not. It's not his movie. Because I've taken a few dates to different Marvel movies.
Right.
When's Thor going to come out? When's Iron Man? Well, he's not, because this is Doctor Strange, or, you know, like a lot of that kind of shit.
One thing I will say about the Marvels that I cannot, has been a Marvel. I will not say what it is. I will not spoil it at all. But the end credit scene, there's only a mid-credit scene, but it blew my mind. Like, as far as the future ramifications for the MCU, that's all I'll say. But it has an amazing mid-credit scene also, which I think everyone I've heard about, everyone who has talked about it, and everyone who has seen it, and before I even saw it, people were tweeting about how their audience literally gasped when it happened. I did too when I saw it. I was like, I can't. I do not want to say what it is. I do not want to spoil it. It's only a mid-credit scene. There's no end credit scene, but yeah, I
Yep.
want to. I want to talk about it right now, but I won't. I will not. Uh,
What's your favorite like mid or end credit scene in recent years? Like, what would you say
recent years.
out of anything like MCU, DC?
Um, Harry Styles at the end of Eternals. I'm just kidding. No, I'm joking. I'm completely
I was getting ready
completely joking.
to.
This one probably, to be 100% honest with you.
Oh, I definitely got to check that out.
Yeah, there's it's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
You know what
What about
mine
you?
is? The Invincible cartoon, the first episode of season 1. After the credits, remember what happens?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, wow.
I remember that. I remember that for sure. Let us know what your favorite end credit scene of anything is. Whether it's a movie, TV show, whatever it is, let us know. I am curious though, Jason and whoever else said that they knew people who saw the Marvels and didn't like it. What didn't they like about it? I'm just curious. I'm trying to break it down a little bit, right? Like I'm trying to see, because honestly, everyone I know that has seen it has really liked it. There hasn't been anyone that I know. There have been some people that have been mid on it, right? Just because they're kind of mid on Marvel right now in general. So they're not super stoked about it. But everyone I've talked to and everything really liked it. But I'd be curious to hear what other people are saying, because obviously I'm on Twitter, but I stay off of that site as much as possible because you
Yeah.
can't get anything on there. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Jason. I do, like everyone, I do think it is oversaturation, and I do think it's just a lot happening, kind of like Star Wars, right? I do feel like Star Wars is the same thing. Star Wars. I remember people were so stoked that Star Wars was coming out with all this stuff, and I was one of the people to say, guys, like, please be careful what you wish for because this is going to get too much. And those people were like, nah, it's fine. I love Star Wars. Take all the Star Wars all day. Those same people now are like, another Star Wars. Like, I don't even, who cares about Star Wars anymore? You know, it's same thing with Marvel. I was the same way. Like I was stoked about all the stuff they were doing, but even as it was happening, especially all their TV shows and stuff, it was it was starting to feel like a lot. And I was like trying to pump the brakes a little bit and be like, guys, this is like a lot of Marvel. Like, let's not, I don't want to get sick of it. And I don't want to get, bored with it. I kept hearing the story plot was bad. Listen, the stories, a lot of these movies, I was actually thinking about this the other day. And when I was actually writing my review for it, and I was like, I can't, other than like, again, we go back to the first three phases, right? We have Endgame, like, they're not all like, you take Iron Man 2, for example, or even Iron Man 3, like Iron Man 2, like the story's not very good, right? Or even Iron Man 3, like the stories aren't good. What you're really going to these movies for are the characters, the how they're going to make you feel. You care about these characters in these worlds. I don't think story 100% is why people go to these movies as much it is about the characters and how they interact with each other and how they build on the world that's already been created. I feel a lot the same way with this movie. I think something like Guardians of the Galaxy was a little bit different because I felt like that had some stakes. But like even Quantumania, I didn't feel like had a good story at all. You know what I mean? Like it was all spectacle over everything else. And that's what we go to these movies for: spectacle, the set pieces, the characters, things like that. Story's not very deep in the Marvels. It's pretty straightforward and pretty basic. The villain, MCU has a villain problem over the past couple years. Like their villains are just not great. They're not as intimidating.
They're too predictable.
They're too predictable. They're too predictable. And like I said, you're doing B-level villains with A-level heroes, which just isn't really meshing well for me. So I get that, the story plot might not be the best. But Super Mario Brothers movie did great. Lots of people loved it. That's just, I mean, the story wasn't strong, right? Like it was pretty basic stuff,
Yeah, a simple video game storyline.
Video game story. So I don't know. I think when it comes to these kind of movies, like, saying the story plot is bad, which is understandable. And if that turns some people off, 100%, that's totally your call. Like, I get it. But to me, it's not a deterrent per se. I want to see these characters. I want to have fun with these worlds that they're in. So for me, that wasn't really a selling point or a killing point for this movie. Even the villain, she wasn't fantastic. She wasn't great. But I still give it a pass because I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the story more than the plot, if that makes sense, right? The story are these characters doing these things within this bigger framework of the plot.
People fear change, I think, like
Yeah,
they're so
exactly.
used to their Downey Juniors and their Evans and Hemsworth, and then
Right,
you give them
right.
new characters and they're just like, hmm?
No, exactly. And that's the thing too. And I think too, a lot of it is, you know, Disney's trying to create the synergy, right, with the TV shows and the movies coming into one. So it's like Miss Marvel was a TV show, WandaVision was a TV show. Unless you're a super fan like me, you probably haven't watched all the TV shows and then watched the movies, right? Like you're coming into it being like, oh, like I think I saw the commercials for that girl on Disney Plus. Is this going to be a Disney Plus thing or is this a theatrical thing, right? Like, why am I going to go to the theaters when I could just watch it on Disney Plus? Um, which I think is another kind of problem with the streaming model they have, right? Because people know that this movie is going to be on Disney Plus and probably by the end of December, right? Because it's November now, so I'd give it mid-December, late December that it's on Disney Plus. It feels like so no one's going to rush out to see it. They're going to wait till it's on Disney Plus.
Well, people are always they've always kind of been the majority have been I want to say narrow-minded or something. Like they see something and like I just remember back when Watchmen came out. You know how
Oh
many
yeah,
families I saw in there with kids because they
yeah,
just figure, oh, it's superheroes, it's a kids movie,
yeah.
and guess how many are walking out like halfway through that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing too. It's like the superhero movies, we actually I just did a podcast series a little bit for My Public Life as an American Nerd about animation and how animation is still considered a genre when it should be it's a way to tell a story, right? It's a way to tell a story. It's not animation isn't particularly a genre as much as it is as a medium, right? Like a book or a live
Yeah,
action movie. Animation works the same way as those things, and you shouldn't, all because it's animated doesn't mean it's for kids, does it not mean it's for
very
families.
much so.
Yeah, and I think the same thing with these kind of movies. Like people can ask Martin Scorsese all they want about these superhero movies, right? Martin Scorsese is going to have an opinion that the roller coaster rides or theme park rides, he doesn't care for them. Totally fine. Everyone's has their opinion. And he's like the best, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, right? And he has an opinion, and that's great. And I hate that people use that as their kind of jumping point to hate these movies. It's like I've heard people say, "Oh, Martin Scorsese says they're dumb," so it's like that's exactly how I feel about it. They're just roller coaster rides, and it's like, dude, like first of all, think for yourself, and also
Right.
like I just hate like when people that's my biggest thing with these like prestige filmmakers talking about superhero movies. It's because people baited out of them, right? Like people know what Martin Scorsese is going to say about superhero movies. People know what Quentin Tarantino is going to say about superhero movies. Um, so I don't know. I find that whole thing kind of
They
odd.
can't think for themselves, that
Yeah, exactly.
go
Um,
take your kids to see Watchmen. It's a superhero movie.
Right, exactly. Jason being the only way they can turn the MCU around is if they bring a villain like Doom or if they bring X-Men or something like that. Characters that can bring that is what they need. That is 100% what they need right now. End credit scene. I cannot say what happened. Watch it and watch the end credit scene. That's all I'm gonna say. Wendy Frank just saying it's time for DC to step its game up. They need to start pushing better. Yes, I do think they are. James Gunn is now at the head of DC, and I do think his Superman is going to bring in this new era of the DC universe. And I really, really think that the new DCU is going to be the new what the MCU used to be. I think it's going to bring this fresh takes, fresh, unique characters. And James Gunn was a part of the MCU at the beginning, right? Like not the beginning, but Guardians of the Galaxy. Like who would have thought that that movie was going to be a success? Like it was a risk. They took it and they swung and they hit, right? Like they hit a home run. People loved it. And I think he's going to do the same thing with DC 100%. I think he's going to do great things over there. And I have a lot of faith in what DC's doing and what they're going to do. I may not, again, we all have our opinions. I have Marvel movies I don't like. I have DC movies I really don't like. But I also, have stuff that I really do like in those universes. You know what I mean? And I do think both of the universes mean so much to a lot of people, and I want to see them both succeed. And I hate that people are pitting them up against each other when they do, like, Marvel versus DC. I think that's dumb. I think that the idea that one needs to reign supreme over the other is stupid.
That's silly.
Yeah, even when the MCU was going strong and like they were releasing stuff like the Zack Snyder's Superman, Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, I went to watch all those. I wanted them to be just as good. I wanted them all to be great. I wanted them all to be fantastic. I've never, ever, ever rooted for a movie to fail, even though I don't like some of them and some aspects of them bother me. Rooting for failure is a fool's errand. It's one of the dumbest things you can do. People are doing that right now about the Marvels. They're gloating about how it failed.
People are stupid, I think.
Which is dumb. And even, listen, we've had our debates on here about Black Adam, for example, right? But I would never in a million years want that movie to fail.
No.
Right? That's not my goal. Like, I didn't like it. I hated it. Some people loved it, but I would never be like, oh, I hope that movie just sucks and falls into a well and fails so hard. That's not what it should be about. Even if you don't like something, like, people enjoy it, people love it. Ambush Bug movie.
Yes, there's a movie that won't fail.
100%. I think so. Keep comics hot, 100%. And I think that's what a lot of these companies are still doing. They're still doing some great things with comic books and stuff like that. So we still always have that, which I think is fantastic. So,
oh my God, Invincible. Oh, have you seen the new season?
I haven't. Unfortunately,
there's 2 episodes out now.
I haven't finished the first season yet.
Oh no! Oh my God! Yeah. You have to finish that first season.
Oh, absolutely! I know. So many great Superman stories out there. 100%. I also love a great Green Lantern movie. A good Green Lantern movie would be amazing. They were working on a series for Max, but they never did. I would love a full-size Black Adam poster. Well, I mean,
you won't find it at Kevin's house.
You won't find it at my house, that's for sure. But hey, you never know.
I just watched Deadpool 2 the other day, and it was like the last part where, remember, he's got Cable's little time slipper.
Oh yeah.
Just that Ryan Reynolds with the Green Lantern script saying, "You're in the big leagues now, kid," and gets shot in the head.
100%. I love that. Deadpool 3 is the next MCU movie coming out, June 2025. After that, we're not getting another one until 2026. It's the only MCU movie coming out in 2025. So hopefully, listen, I really hope that they course correct with Deadpool 3. I hope that Deadpool 3 kind of resets a lot of things and kind of changes a lot of things. And I feel like Deadpool 3 is the way. If you're going to get rid of Kang, might as well do it in Deadpool 3, right? Like, you can do something silly and crazy with that. Rumors regarding Deadpool 3 are amazing. Suppose you got some TVA action because of that time device, the TVA, and Mobius from Loki. Have you watched Loki?
I haven't watched the new season.
Okay.
I need to. That's like my next on my list.
Yeah, Mobius is supposed to be Miss Minutes is supposed to be a part. Oh, Miss Minutes has been pissing me off.
Nice.
I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into the Miss Minutes drama right now.
That's its own podcast.
That's its own podcast. Oh, she's so annoying. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I'm really, really excited for that. Hopefully they do good things with this. It's going to stay rated R. Got Sean Levy directing it. I think it's got a lot of good things happening to it. So, and you got all these, Wolverine coming back, like Hugh Jackman. Like, what are you going to, it's going to be awesome.
Rated R Wolverine movies are what the world needs.
Oh, you got Logan.
Yes, that is such oh my God.
Yeah, Logan, 100%. There was some other news about what was it? About them bringing a character back that was supposedly dead or something. I can't even remember what it was. A superhero, maybe. I can't remember. Yeah, I'll think about it. But anyways, a Black or Yellow Lantern tie-in would be nice. Yeah, that would be really cool. So, let us know your guys' thoughts. Oh, I got these from the theater. I just keep on fidgeting with them.
Oh, nice.
Really cool. You just saw them in RPX or whatever. We got this one.
Sweet.
This Marvel there.
Reminds me of the old Marvel Masterpiece days.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, 100%. Watch the first episode of Loki. Need to watch more, but dang, I dislike time travel crap. Well, except for Doctor Who. I get that. I personally love time travel. Yeah, I think it's great, but I completely understand that, Jason. Time travel is Dark Wolverine movies would be amazing. Yeah, they would be. Time travel is really so. I can't spill too much details right now, but I have been working on something lately, writing, and I've been really excited about it. And I've been delving in time travel in that world that I've been working on. It's complicated. I don't
Are you
realize how.
building a time machine, Kevin?
No. Like it's in writing. It's in writing. So
Oh,
it's a story
yeah.
I've been working on, and but like once you introduce time travel, it's like I introduced it and I was like, oh wait, I gotta like stick with this. So I gotta like deal with all the other ramifications and stuff. It's been really fun, but very complicated. Time travel is not something I recommend anybody ever write about. That's what writers say too. They're like, don't do time travel. Like, don't do time travel. Whatever you do, don't write time travel. What do I do? I write time travel. You guys will find out about it in about a year or so. So
I can't
just
wait.
a teaser for something. But yeah, um, so that's been really fun. But yeah, Loki's been great. Loki has been, and Loki doesn't really deal with time travel as much. I don't. Well, it does, yeah, I guess, with the multiverses and stuff like that, different branches and stuff like that. But we're really digging the second season so far. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So yeah, let us know, guys. I know we've been talking about it, but if you guys listen to this after the fact or watch it, let us know what your guys is what you guys think about the MCU, where it's headed, where it should be headed, where you know how they can fix it, how they can course correct, and kind of bring them back to their glory. So, but go watch the Marvels. Legit, I thought it was fun. I thought it was great. Um, yeah, it's fantastic. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, Jason, do you have anything else you wanted to add today?
Well, when you get that time machine built, let me know because I would like to jump back.
I will.
If you could go back in time and change nothing significant, but like, say somebody says, Kevin, I have a time machine and you can use this, but you can't like change anything significant in your life, but you can change maybe like, I don't know. Is there anything you would change or?
Gosh, gosh, this is
Hey,
gonna. I,
it's hard because, oh my
That's a
God,
good question. I think I would have been so I think I would have changed. So just real quick, I believe that time travel works like it doesn't do
Terminator.
Terminator, it's a slinky. I believe that too. We can do a whole episode on time travel. We're gonna do a time travel episode and try
We
to
should.
break down all of the different time travel theories and movies and stuff like that in pop culture, which would be really fun. But I think I would legitimately I would go back and change my complacency with certain things. I think I would be more motivated to do more as far as my writing and as far as my creative stuff I want to do. Um, Certain point in all of our lives, I think some of us get just super complacent with where we're at, and we kind of lose sight of what we're working on because we have these other things that are happening. Obviously, I get the wife and two kids and stuff like that, so that kind of stuff takes over, and you kind of forget about yourself and what you're working on. I would probably go back and be like, dude, like just write more, um, be more, make content, make more content, get into the Lego game before it becomes like this huge thing.
Buy that Lego Voltron
Buy
while
that
he's
Lego
still retail
Voltron.
price.
Yeah, right. Do all that stuff, do stuff that, I would just give myself more motivation and more inspiration to do more, right? To be more successful at the things I want to do as opposed to just being complacent with what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
I feel you. I would have
Yeah.
made work around school rather than I had gotten a job. I made school kind of try to fit around my work, and if it didn't, I mean, I was making money. I was helping my family. I had
Yeah.
bills. I would have made school more of the priority.
Right.
You know, like just
100%.
the dream. Like was it my dream to work for a retail manager and make him look good, or was it like that kind of thing?
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was saying too. Like I would have totally paved a whole new path for myself, paid more attention, done my own thing. I'm done with working for other people, to be honest. I didn't say that out loud on a podcast live, but I really am. So,
I
um,
did.
but yeah. You did. Sith Ninja, you said you saw it, right? You said it was a good movie. That's Arturo, right? Yeah. Sith
Yeah.
Ninja Cowboy Ranger. Yeah. You said it was a good movie. People who hate the Marvels calling the movie woke, which is the dumbest thing in the world. Listen, if anybody comes at me with woke as a criticism for anything, I'm walking away. That's just that's my life now. I'm like, you want to say something's woke and use that as a criticism? I'm done. Bye. This isn't even a conversation. I'm not dealing with you.
They're not worth the attention, you know?
Yeah, exactly. If it's woke, that doesn't make it bad. People need to stop that. I completely agree, Wendy. And I think, if you're going to talk about woke movies not being successful, I mean, if we're really going to go quote unquote woke, let's talk about Barbie a little bit, right? The most successful movie of the year, probably one of the more woke movies, and I use that in quotations, of the year, but it's still made. So I don't get what people's defenses are with that. It's like, anyways, I love Barbie.
Haters gonna hate,
Haters gonna hate, and it's dumb. But yeah, I think that's stupid. I hate that. I hate that term. I get it. I understand what it means, but I just think it's a dumb criticism for anything, because being woke just means to include everybody and to have whatever the people of color, different sexualities, whatever the case may be. Like it doesn't matter. Like, so stupid. Woke is not a bad thing.
Just people drinking too much haterade.
Well, 100%, 100%. So yeah, guys, that's our show, everyone. Hate to end it on a woke note. But no, absolutely, go watch the movies you like, man. Let us know what movies you guys are watching, what movies you guys suggest we go watch. I'd love to check out anything new, anything fresh. One movie I do want to bring up is The Killer, which is on Netflix, directed by David Fincher, who also directed Seven, Fight Club, The Social Network, The Game, all these wonderful movies. He has a new movie on Netflix called The Killer with Michael Fassbender, which I hear is fantastic. I haven't watched it.
I saw he's like a hitman or something, huh?
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
he's a hitman. Yeah, it looks great. So
it's really on Netflix to watch now, right?
What's that?
You can watch it now on Netflix.
Absolutely. A certain political party likes to use. Oh yeah, trust me. Yeah. I know, Arturo. I know.
We won't get started on those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anyways, y'all, thank you all for checking out the show. Thank you all for listening. Remember to like and subscribe wherever you're watching it. Check out pastramination.com for all the news and all the news and reviews, all that stuff. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. I can't believe I'm doing this at the very end of the show. Christian isn't here today because it's his birthday and he's off having fun, and he's at a
Laker game. You can't get better than that.
Yeah, you cannot get better than that. So Christian, happy birthday, man. I hope you're having a blast.
Yes.
You'll be back with us next week, but I just wanted to give him a shout out because he deserves it. It's his birthday. So yeah. Hit the like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Really appreciate you guys chatting. And even after the show's over, keep on talking to us. If you have something to say, if you have something to talk about, please bring it up. You can find me on Facebook, Kevin Hoskinson, or Kevin_Hoskinson on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. Jason, they can find you, Jason Smith, on Friendster and MySpace and all that fun stuff.
Napster, all those good old America Online.
Exactly. Make sure to check it out. See, Christian, you're getting all the birthday love. I don't know if you ever watched this or I hope you're not live streaming it during the Laker game right now. But if you are, then we'd appreciate that. They should play it on the Jumbotron.
Nice.
Birthday.
I hope they do.
Gosh, oh geez. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of action.
You guys still alive?
You are still alive. Yes, we are. We're almost
alive.
Did you get your butt kicked? Come here.
No.
Come here. Just real quick, tell us what happened. So just real quick, this kid, he's been practicing at Smash Brothers so he can take on my younger brothers, Zachary and Joseph.
Oh,
he's working his way up to me as the main boss. So he's
nice.
with them. So how'd it go?
I won.
You won?
Yeah.
Who'd you play as?
Me and Little Mac.
Nice. Who was Uncle Joe?
Inkling.
Oh, cool. So he won. Congratulations, Eli. We're really, really happy for him, this kid right here. So y'all take care. Thank you all for joining the show. We really, really appreciate it. The show would be nothing without you guys, and it's always fun having you here. We'll see you all next week, next Tuesday, where we'll do another brand new live episode, and we'll talk about some other stuff. So, all right, you guys, have a good night, and don't forget, take care of yourselves and each other, and just stay woke. That's all I gotta
stay
say.
woke.
See ya.